And good evening and welcome to Troup High's Coaches Show. I'm your host, Greg Hicks, along with head coach Tanner Glisson, and we'll be talking about the last week's victory over actually a region victory, first one. Congratulations, Coach, over Chapel Hill.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Those region victories are hard to come by, so it's good to get one and be 1-0.
You know, this time last week, you know, we were talking about Chapel Hill and you know how good they were the first time they'd have been 4-0, and they were hungry and they started to believe in themselves. And you know, we came away Friday night with a tremendous victory. But you know, you take away, you certainly got to respect their quarterback. He's done a tremendous job, and I was just as impressed with their tailback, that number 2 guy. I mean, when he got the football, he just loved to just plow in there and kind of tested our front line all night. But anyway, Chapel Hill's going to do well, and they should make the playoffs this year.
Well, I tell you this, one thing that we've always respected Chapel Hill for is defensively they always had a good scheme, and so you know they had another good scheme Friday night, but we just executed pretty well and let some of our athletes take over. But it was a hard-fought game. Those guys up there do a great job. Like you said, they came in 4-0, had beaten Stars Mill, had beaten Noonan, had beaten some really good teams. Mm-hmm. And so for us to get that W at home and be 1-0 in the region was really big.
And homecoming too, you know, with all the festivities, you know, looked around and before the game, you know, Chapel Hill had a decent crowd, but as the game first quarter went on, they actually more and more fans came in. It certainly wasn't the Callaway crowd that we had, but they traveled pretty good. But we're so proud of Tiger Nation, man. Every week in and week out, they've come out and supported the Tigers and done what they said they were going to do, and that is buy the tickets and fill the stands. And Friday night was no different. What a great homecoming crowd that was there. And a lot of times you'll see the homecoming crowd, especially if you're winning the second half, you'll see the crowd kind of deplete and disparage. They'll go ahead and go, but not the other night. You know, they really enjoyed the offensive show that you guys put on.
That's what I was about to say. There's too many fireworks be leaving the stadium, but we do appreciate that. They've been really good ever since we've been here, even through that 1-9 season. They were still really supporting us, and they've been there ever since. And hopefully, we're putting a good product on the field that people want to come watch.
Mm-hmm. Hey, with that, we're going to take a short break. We're live at Johnny's Pizza here on the Parkway each and every Monday night. We're coming on at 8 o'clock. You guys come on out and have some pizza with us. And don't forget, buffet every day, $7.99. Include your drink. Y'all come on out and take me to lunch. We'll be right back.
It is Take Home a Titan Truck Month at Nissan of LaGrange. Hey guys, Richard Cates here, General Manager of Nissan of LaGrange. It is time for you to get away from the norm and into the new Nissan Titan. With America's best truck warranty at 5-year, 100,000-mile bumper to bumper, there is no reason not to be at Nissan of LaGrange right now. It is time for you to be a Titan. Come see me at Nissan of LaGrange, where all of our Titans are $10,000 off for Titan Truck Month. Nissan of LaGrange, your friendliest hometown dealer.
Kathy here.
Hey, it's Mike. My team just pulled off the biggest upset ever.
Nice, Mike.
And some fans are getting crazy. They even flipped over a car.
Whoa.
Turns out it's my car, though.
Oh.
But I don't want to be upset right now. I want to know State Farm's going to take care of this, right?
We got you covered, Mike.
Yes! Woo!
Go with the one that's here to help life go right. State Farm.
Your State Farm agent is Matt Orr on the square in downtown LaGrange.
Rogers Barbecue in LaGrange has been locally owned since 1945, and they have daily lunch specials for only $7.29, and that includes your drink and dessert. Tuesday night from 5 to close is all-you-can-eat ribs, and Thursday's all-you-can-eat catfish, and with their Brundrick stew is famous throughout the region. They proudly serve only U.S. farm-raised catfish, so dine in or use a convenient drive-thru Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. at 117 New Franklin Road in LaGrange. So come join the crowd at Rogers Barbecue.
At Holmes Pharmacy, we offer low-price generics whenever possible. So if you want to go to a great pharmacy, come on in and you'll be dealing with the best. Holmes Pharmacy. And we have a great selection of diabetic supplies and a good selection of over-the-counter medications as well. Holmes Pharmacy now with 3 locations, Hamilton, LaGrange, and now in Sawmill inside the Piggly Wiggly grocery store.
Take the deal and run. Come on, take the deal and run.
At Wellstar West Georgia Medical Center, we believe teamwork makes all the difference in your health. We believe that skilled people can achieve higher standards and exceptional results. We believe in a game plan that's focused on patient safety and quality care. At Wellstar West Georgia Medical Center in LaGrange, we believe in life well lived. To learn more about award-winning healthcare, visit wellstar.org/WGMC.
Now back to the Coach's Corner, live at Johnny's New York Style Pizza on Eagle 102.3, WLAG 96.9 FM, 1240 AM, and online at eagle1023.com.
Hey, and welcome back to Johnny's Pizza. Here we're live each and every Monday night. Beginning at 8 o'clock here, you'll catch the Troup High Coaches Show. Beginning at 7 to 7:30, you'll catch LaGrange Colleges with Coach Earl Chambers and Jack Mormon hosting that. And then behind that, at 7:30, you'll have the Callaway Coaches Show with Coach Pete Wiggins. And then we'll come at 8, and then Jack Mormon will follow up with the LaGrange High Coaches Show with Coach Gibbs at 8 o'clock, 8:30, and we'll finish it all up at 9. So you guys come on out every Monday night, have some pizza with us, talk to the coaches. 9 o'clock's not too late. It's not past your bedtime. I mean, for Jack, he's about to fall asleep sometimes, but it's okay. It's okay. We'll take it. 8 o'clock is your bedtime. But, Coach, we talk about that game, and you mentioned fireworks, and, you never want to overlook your opponent, and you respect your opponent, and that's certainly what you guys had for Chapel Hill when you walked in Friday night. But just the ebb and the flow of the game when it first started, and you just felt something really good. Chapel Hill won the toss and decided to take the football, but you guys you held them out. They had a pretty good little drive going, but then you wound up taking care of business and held them out, and then Troup High took over. And to end the game, though, when you look back, just about what were some of the stats that Kobe had and some of the receivers?
Well, it was pretty remarkable, honestly. Kobe was 25 of 34 passing for 530 yards, which actually set a new Troup High passing record, single game record to break Montez's from last year. And so I know Montez wasn't too pleased about that. We kind of joked about it a little bit, but then he had six touchdown passes. Let's say we had 29 total carries on offense for 256 yards. So we had a total of 786 yards on offense, which is a bucket load. I don't know that I'm pretty safe to say I've never been around a team that had that many yards. I mean, that's pretty remarkable when you have 786 yards total offense.
Well, that's 3/4 of 1,000 or a little bit more. So that's a ton of yards for sure. And when you get it didn't just all come just immediately. I mean, it took the whole game, but it just snuck up on you. I don't know that at the end of the game, if you'd asked your average fan, even your more knowledgeable fan, hey, how many yards do you think they had? They may not would have ever guessed that.
Yeah, and I don't think we really know. I mean, we kind of get caught up in the flow of the game and the X's and O's and having to make some adjustments and stuff, and then you just look up, at the end of the game, and somebody puts the stats in front of you, and you're like, wow, that's impressive. So I knew he had a good night, but to have 530 yards passing, that's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. I was watching him and admiring him as he was chased out of the pocket one time, and he was making his way over to the Chapel Hill sideline, and he just threw it off of his back foot, kind of across his body, up to Joko Willis, sitting about 30 or 40 yards beyond the line of scrimmage, and he's sitting here waiting on it. As soon as he caught it on the 35-yard line of Chapel Hill, he outran the corner to the end zone and just made both Joko and Kobe just made it look so smooth, and makes you really appreciate the amount of time that you guys put into preparing for each and every game and the practice. And of course, it helps that these kids are pretty skilled. You mentioned about Joko having the hands last week. It sounds different, how it pops in his hands. And we all thought, well, this kid's going to be a great little – he didn't put a little bit of weight on, but he's going to be a great linebacker. All of a sudden, Coach says, well, I think I'm going to try him in offense. It's like, what? And, man, it looked where did you come up with that?
He's done a great job, but I think it goes back to how we teach things, the progression of how we teach things, from going from, Sunday nights and coming in and watching film to going through the walkthroughs on Monday morning to going into pre-practice film before we hit the field, and then go through the walkthroughs and then practice, and how it's a process of teaching. And, you do all those things the right way, and something that we figure out has worked for us. And then on Friday night, the kids seem to know what they're doing, and they're able to play fast and able to process things. But I think it goes back to we have a system of teaching and that we're comfortable with that seems to work for us and for the kids, and right now it's being successful.
Okay. Speaking, we talk a lot about the skill players, and when Tyree Carlisle on defense, I happened to just pick his name out. I was telling Jack on the radio Friday night looking at the game, there for 2 or 3 plays in a row, you thought he was beat.
Yep.
And I said, Jack, I really think – well, actually, Jack never brought it up. I really think that maybe he's just sandbagging a little bit just to prove that he can come out and take over.
Right.
No, maybe he wasn't.
No, what it is his reach, his arms, wingspan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's just such a long corner.
I got you.
He has a tremendous wingspan and stuff. So there's several times where he looks like he's out of phase and he just reaches up and makes a play. And but his wingspan and being 6'1", 200 pounds kind of allows him to do some things that some other corners can't do.
Okay. Interesting, though. But then I go back to the offensive line, and these guys are so disciplined. Yeah, they've had their hiccups this year compared to last year. I think last year we just kind of grew to expect these guys aren't going to move. Defensive line and offensive line, when it comes to drawing them off sides and stuff, but very disciplined. You just got to give kudos to Philip Manning and then I guess who's your defensive line coach? Is it?
Well, we have 2 of them. We have Philip Manning on the offense side, and then on the other side you have Coach Brumbelow and Coach Kendall.
Okay,
and they do a tremendous job. But both of those guys, in the way we simulate things in practice, we're able to get enough one-on-ones or best on best, especially on Wednesdays. We go through a simulated game at practice on Wednesdays, from the kickoff to everything, all your special teams. It's just,
right.
Offense is out versus the scout team defense, and then it'll be a punt situation or punt return or a touchdown and an extra point or whatever, but it's a simulated game. And usually on those Wednesdays, you can kind of tell how dialed in we are, and especially if we feel like we've gotten a good look from our special teams. You can kind of tell, from our scout teams, you can kind of tell how the week's going to go, how Friday's going to go.
Okay.
And so that's kind of been our measuring stick, and right now it's something that works, and we're going to stick with it.
Well, and speaking, you're talking about from the kickoff on, that's another phase of your game with Martinez coming along. Since the Harris County game, the last 2 weeks, you guys have been spot on as far as the
well, you keep scoring enough points, you keep getting enough chances to enough practice to kick off. But yeah, there were a couple times I think last Friday we gave one that they returned back to the 50, and we just got out of our fit with our safety and how we tried to do some things. But that's been a work in progress. That's probably when you come out of camp, that's probably the thing that lags behind most, or special teams, just the amount of time that you get to do those live. You don't have many opportunities. But as the season progresses, you get better and better, and especially with us now scoring some points, we're able to kick off a lot.
Okay.
And that's a good way to get some of those number 2 and 3 guys in as well.
Right. And you wouldn't thought that Mark Anthony Dixon, what you mean last year, like him a punter? But then also he's actually done quite well.
Well, yeah, Mark Anthony Dixon's done a tremendous job, and it gives you an athlete back there. A guy who you're kind of – you don't know if you really want to rush him or not. The kid runs a 4.39.
That's a good
you're
point.
like, do I really rush him? What do we do? They might fake it.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that we did up at Ridgeland. We showed one of our fakes early and try to put people on notice a little bit, like, make sure you don't rush this guy because he can run.
And not only that, I was just thinking, I wasn't going to say anything, but since you mentioned it about I think, for the last couple of weeks, we really hadn't done anything with onside kicks as far as kickoffs, but you never know when you might want to. I hope you don't need to, but you never know when you might want to, just to keep everybody honest.
Well, we have a lot of those things in our back pockets, and we'll try to pull those things out, hopefully at the right time, and see what goes.
All right. Well, speaking of goes, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. You're listening to Troup High Coaches Show here live from Johnny's Pizza on Eagle Sports. We'll be right back.
Hi, football fans. Jonathan Moose Map here from Glenn Smith in Opelika, Alabama. We love this time of year with all the excitement of football, and we also love that Glenn Smith can play a part in supporting high school sports. We support the team, the coaches, the band, the cheerleaders, and of course the families and the fans. At Glenn Smith, we're proud to be your local Chevrolet Buick and GMC dealer with over 500 new and used vehicles every day. Online 24/7 at glennsmith.com. That's Glenn Smith Chevrolet Buick GMC in Opelika. Get ready to smile.
There's a secret to beating injuries or ailments. Get the right team. Emory Southern Orthopedics, well-trained, experienced doctors, nurses, and staff are that team. These teammates listen and understand your specific condition and provide high-quality hometown care that will get you back into your game. For more information about Emory Southern Orthopedics team, visit www.southernorthopedics.com.
There's a storm coming. We may not know its path, but your independent auto owner's insurance agent knows. No matter what happens, we'll be there when you need us most. Strong through every storm. That's how it's been for our first 100 years. And how it will be for generations to come.
Mallory Agency at MalloryAgency.com. For all your insurance needs, it's the Mallory Agency.
Calling all area coaches, high school coaches, travel ball coaches, and more. Mud Creek Graphics is now selling sporting goods like Wilson, DeMarini, Louisville Slugger, Rawlings, and Russell for travel teams, football, baseball, basketball, soccer, and more. For more information, call Mud Creek Graphics at 706-884-5592. Mud Creek's for all your sporting good needs.
Deciding to sell or buy a home is a big step. To make sure it's the step in the right direction, choose the person best qualified to handle your real estate needs. Joel and Rob Upchurch have been breaking sales records every year since 1997. They truly are the real estate leaders in West Georgia. So take a step in the right direction. Contact Joel or Rob Upchurch at RE/MAX Results because they are dedicated to results and converting transactions into relationships.
Now back to the Coach's Corner live at Johnny's New York Style Pizza on Eagle 102.3, WLAG 96.9 FM, 1240 AM, and online at eagle1023.com.
Thank you guys for listening to Eagle 102.3. Make that your radio station of choice every morning. Listen to Steve Smoot and the morning show, and then throughout the day, enjoy good country music on Eagle 102.3. And if you want to advertise again, like I kind of brought it up on the show last week, just call the station. There's opportunities yet still remaining to get involved with some football packages all across the board. So take advantage of that as you can. Coach, getting back to the Chapel Hill game again, homecoming. It was your first region win of the year, and hopefully there'll be more to come with that. And good Chapel Hill team. I noticed some of the new rankings came out, and Chapel Hill is still up there. They're still respected enough to be in the top 10 or 11. So, hey, kudos to them, and kudos to you and your team and your staff and the kids that really performed well. And, the kind of game you had the other night, you got a lot of I guess number 2s and 3s to get a chance to get in and get some significant game time.
Yeah, that's always important. Those guys go so hard every day in practice with the scout team units and everything. And then you have your JV games, but there's nothing like getting under those lights on Friday nights. And I can remember it as a kid, as a ninth grader, just, man, I hope I get in. You get in for that one play on kickoff, and you're, like, just so excited.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And so that's, and hopefully, too, that gives them a little taste to where they want to work harder, and two, to set us up for down the road to get a little experience. So maybe next year or the year after, when some of these guys got to step in and play, that we've already started paving that road a little bit.
Well, and you've got the kids down at Long Cane, and you mentioned last week how the middle school is done and the JV is done, and so it's I remember way back when I was in that junior, we call it junior high back then. Right. That's how long it's been. Sure. But I had the Billy Joe Kennedys and the Carl Whitfields of the world back that I looked up to. I listened Friday night for the radio to come on, and because if I couldn't make it to the game, I wanted to hear what the Tigers were doing. And a lot of these kids down there, they look up to guys like Kobe and King Makuta and then Boykin and offensively to these offensive linemen and Kobe, Harry, and Gabe Hubbard. They say, I hear their names on the radio. I just want to be like them. I want to see them. I want to, and that's their young boy. That's their heroes. That's their local heroes, and you're building something now.
Well, you hit the nail on the head on that, and I think we've done a good job of convincing those guys that you just named how important their legacy is and how important it is for the next, I won't say generation, but I guess, that next group of Long Cane kids that come up to Troup High to keep this thing rolling. Yeah. And we work too hard, every single day and have a thing in place for it to be a flash in the pan. And so, but I think we've done a good job of convincing, those juniors and seniors out there now that it's more than just about me. It's about the program. It's about everyone involved, and they do a really good job when they see those kids too. Those A.J. Tuckers and Teo and all those guys down there at Long Cane, putting an arm around them and giving them a little fist bump and that kind of thing, and they do a good job of that.
And that means a lot. I'm telling you, when you're a little kid like that, whether it be in elementary school at the Parks and Rec, and you see that T walking around, and you see these players, you remember that. You remember that as you're growing up. It's like you just have that daze in your eyes. So that's good, and it's just nice to see. I think a lot of old-time Tiger fans are really appreciative of the progress that you've made, the system that you've put in, and how the kids have responded. And so with all that being said, each and every night, you talk about putting a product on the field, a good product on the field. And I think anybody that's come to the football games can see it. We're going to make mistakes and we're going to learn from those, but all in all, they should be pretty pleased.
And we appreciate that, and we really are very appreciative of all the fan support. But my family lives here, and we're happy here, and to have my wife and the kids, and hopefully my kids come up through this program. That's a really big thing, and I don't take that lightly. That's you always look at the foundation that we're laying and say, hey, would I allow Chandler or Chambers to play in this program? And that's the kind of program I want to build and that we want to build, and we're excited about it. And Coach Holt and all of our coaches, for the most part, have kids either playing currently in our program or coming through our program. And so it's just really important to all of us that we do it the right way.
Well, that's so good. You mentioned names, but again, I want to point out some of the guys like Devin Hill and Jeremiah Holston and Cato and then Jordan Adams, and these guys are not necessarily what Devin is, but and Jeremiah's been starting the last couple of times, but Adams is a fill-in. He comes in and again, you don't miss a lick. You don't even realize that somebody's out.
There's not a huge drop off between our ones and twos right now in a lot of areas. Okay. When you talk about Zy Varner and mentioned Corey Cato, and you talk about Jordan Adams, and you talk about Monte Hall and all those guys. There's not a really big drop-off to Braylon Gooden and linebacker.
Yeah, he's done a really good job on special teams, too.
Yes, and so there's not a huge drop-off. And when we first got to Troup, there was a big drop-off. It was your starters, and then we had, it was JV guys. And so you didn't really have a lot of competition at practice, and that's one thing that all this does is fuels competition and makes you practice better, which in turn makes you a better football team.
Okay.
And so we're really excited about all those guys who get a chance to get in there and play and mix it up, and whether it be on special teams or offense and defense.
Just last again, 1-0 in the region. Beat Chapel Hill Friday night at Callaway Stadium. We've got another game coming up this Friday night, and it won't be at Callaway Stadium because Callaway and Bremen's got it. And if you guys are your Callaway fans, you need to fill that stadium up. Otherwise, we expect every one of you Tiger Nation fans to drive north about 60 miles up to Tyrone to Sandy Creek High School. And we know what happened up there 2 years ago at their homecoming. And you said last week, they've had this game circled on that calendar for a while now.
Yeah, I don't think that the two programs have been friends the last couple of years, and they really don't care a lot for us. We don't care a lot for them, so it's just a good little,
good rivalry.
It's respected, but it's I guess it's good old clean fashioned hate, kind of like Georgia Tech, I guess. But the big deal is Troup had never beaten Sandy Creek before we got here, and they really had just owned Troup, and so. The big deal is we felt like that was a team that we needed to put on our schedule and get it circled and try to go at it. And so when we finally did beat them up their place on their homecoming, I'm not so sure that they took it serious. They kind of thought maybe it was a fluke deal.
Well, maybe they learned their lesson.
Well, I don't know about that. But, and then last year, the way the game kind of went there toward the end, kind of put a little fuel on that fire. But they do a great job over there. Coach Garvin's been the defense coordinator over there for many, many years. They won state championships over there and he as the defense coordinator, and Chip Walker. And actually Chip and I are really good buddies. We'll talk on and off. And but it's a fun atmosphere to go play in over there. It's going to be hostile, and so hopefully we'll be ready to play.
I'm sure that the creek will be a rising, so to speak, as they're always they got their guns out and they're blazing them and they're hollering the creek, and to the point where we need to have the Tigers show up in full force. Tiger Nation, fill the stands, and kind of like we did down in Harris County, not only fill the stands, but what we'll have is standing room only. That's what we want to see, because that's what the kids want, and that's what I know you're going to have a good time when you come up and watch this football game. But again, this is our second region match, and it stands to reason it's going to be a tough one, especially when you travel and you go to their turf with a history that they've had. I think they had 3 state champions in a period of about 5 years, so they hadn't had one in probably about 8 years, but 7 or 8 years, but still that legacy's there. The want and is there, and the desire is to get better and to bring their program back. And you know, in their minds, what better way to do it than to knock off the Tigers?
That's right. Well, they're 4-1, and this will be their first region game because they were off last week, so they were able to come watch us play Chapel Hill, and I'm sure they're going to be ready to play. And like I said, it's going to be a hostile environment being on the road at their place, and they got really good players. And so, we know we're going to take their best shot.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you know, through the years they've had, I know we did a bunch of signs for them. They've got once a Patriot, always a Patriot. They've got kids that are currently in college, and they've got seven or eight of NFL guys.
Calvin Johnson.
Yeah. I remember when I had just moved back home, and Coach Jeter and I went up to watch Sandy Creek, and trying to think who they were playing, but it was for playoff spots, and I just remember Calvin Johnson, the senior, laying parallel out and stretched out and caught the football just full-blown plank, hit the ground, and I thought, that dude is something else. And Georgia Tech was going to get something that you know, unlike they've never had anybody like that before, because they don't
probably won't ever have anybody like that again either.
I mean, if they're going to get those kind of receivers, they feel Johnson's got to do something with his offense for sure. But so Sandy Creek has had through the years talented athletes, and I'm sure they've got plenty of talent on their team this year. I haven't personally seen them. Last year at this time, I had gone up to watch them play, but. Anyway, the Tigers, you're going to be hopefully everybody will be prepared, ready to go. It looks like you're pretty healthy right now. So
we're pretty healthy. Just your bumps and bruises, you know, all the things that you have once you play 5 games. And we had a lot of guys in the training room today trying to get healed up, but they've done a good job of pushing through. And then after this week, we get a bye next week, and so we'll probably give them Saturday, Sunday, and Monday off to let them, you know, get that 3-day kind of rest in them, and then get back and ready to go again. But first things first with Sandy Creek.
Well, with that being said, we're going to wrap it up. But, guys, Tiger Nation, show up in full force Friday night in Tyrone, Georgia, Sandy Creek High School. They are the Patriots, and let's go put them in their place. But come on out and enjoy the Tigers' second region game of the season. Up in Tyrone. Sandy Creek's only about 60 miles away, so come join us. And if for some reason you can't make it, here at 96.9 on Eagle 102.3 FM, listen to us. You can actually sign online if you'd like to eagle1023.com. Click Troup Football, click Listen Live, and you'll have Jack Mormon and myself there calling play-by-play and giving you all the highlights of the football game. Otherwise, we expect and love to see you there Friday night. With that, I'm your host, Greg Hicks, along with head coach Tanner Glisson. We'll be here next Monday night. Go Tigers.
Hi, football fans. Jonathan Moose Map here from Glenn Smith and